There's a very thin line between giving advice and just plain overstepping, and some people really need to learn the difference. So the other day, someone replied to me on Snapchat saying, check Hilda Bassi's meat pie recipe. She adds corn to make it wet. And I thought, okay, maybe it's genuine. Maybe you just want my recipe to be better. But then I opened her full Snap message, and the next thing I saw was, better let your mom run your restaurant. Your marriage is still very young. Immediately, I knew this was not advice from a place of love. Because make it make sense to me. Is it my young marriage that will feed me? Will it pay my bills? Don't get me wrong, my husband provides everything I need, but there is nothing sweeter than having your own money as a woman. Sitting at home doing nothing is not an achievement. So before you open your mouth to advise someone, think twice. Are you helping or are you just overstepping? Hi guys, come spend my 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me as a wife, a mom, a business owner, and a content creator too. So today I'm going to be making different pastries for my restaurant because I do not have a pastry chef for yet. Now, I'm just basically handling everything myself. I'm really looking forward to hiring one soon, but that's by the way. The first thing I did was make my meat pie and chicken pie dough. I mixed everything up, wrapped it in a cling film, and popped it into the fridge to chill. Once that was in the fridge, I cleaned my work surface and moved straight to my banana bread. I put my bananas in my food processor and blended until smooth. Then I brought out another bowl, poured in my blended bananas, added all my ingredients, and mixed everything together. Once my banana bread batter was ready, I oiled my baking pan, scooped in the batter, and got it ready for the oven. I made just 2 flavors of banana bread, the classic plain and the nutty banana bread. Once everything was ready and arranged in my baking tray, I popped it into the oven. My oven is outside my kitchen, so I have to step out completely to bake. Once the banana bread was in the oven, I came back into the kitchen, cleaned my work surface again, and brought out 2 separate bowls because next up were my cupcakes, red velvet and chocolate. I cannot believe that this is actually the first time I am making red velvet and chocolate cake, and it came out so nice. I mixed everything up, brought out my cupcake pan, lined it with cupcake papers, and scooped the batter in. Once that was ready, I popped it into the oven to bake as well. Then I cleared my work surface completely because it was time to get my meat pie and chicken pie ready. I dusted some flour on my work surface so the dough would not stick, cut it into sections, and rolled it out. I placed the dough on my meat pie cutter, added the filling, sealed it up with some egg wash, and arranged one neatly on my oven tray lined with parchment paper. Once they were all sealed, I brushed them with more egg wash so they would come out nice and golden. Then it was time to pop those in the oven too. After that, it was time for the last snack of the day, which was egg rolls. I bought some eggs in my egg boiler, mixed up my egg roll dough, and got my oil ready for frying. Then I got straight into making my egg rolls. While my egg roll was frying, my banana bread was ready, so I brought it out of the oven, let it cool for a bit, then took it out of the baking tray and set it on a cooling rack. Guys, this is how my chocolate and red velvet cupcakes turned out. So moist and sweet. And here are my egg rolls as well. Once everything was set on the dining table, the last thing to come out of the oven was my meat pie and chicken pie. And once that was done, it was time to switch fully into being a wife and a mommy. My daughter was already awake, so I gave her a bath right away. After that, it was time to make her breakfast, and I just made something simple. I made some ripe plantains and boiled egg puree for breakfast. She is such a picky eater, so I'm always on the internet looking for new food ideas, especially with the limited options we have here in Nigeria. Anyways, I poured the puree into her plate and set it aside. Next up was breakfast for my man. Thankfully, he's such a minimalist when it comes to food, and I love that for me. I had some leftover beans in the fridge, so I warmed that up while frying some plantain on another burner. While the plantain was frying, I went to feed my daughter. She's so active and playful. She barely wanted to eat, but I fed her as much as she would take. Then I went back to the kitchen, brought out my plantain because it was perfectly fried, served my husband's food, and left it for him in the dining. After that, I went to freshen up and get myself ready to finally start my day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next vlog. Bye. Mwah.